Today I want us to talk about the president that Kenya deserves, the person Kenya deserves as the president in the upcoming general elections, because this issue of this debate about the president or the occupant of that office of the president has been in the public domain for the longest. That is what I want to make a subject matter for today. So we dive into the matters, we dissect and see who is this that Kenya deserves to lead this country as the president of our republic. So shortly after the current president, President William Samoei Ruto, was elected into office, people have been yearning for a president. Like there is a section of the people who feel like this person doesn't deserve to be the president, and we should look for someone with the potential, with the capacity to lead this country in that capacity. I don't want to dive into the characters who are being presented as presidential candidates from different parts of this country. I want to dive into the character of a person we need as the president. Because at the end of the day, we say that Kenya is a country which is governed by the rule of law. It's not governed by individuals. Those individuals have a portfolio in their office. They have a law and the limits to which they do whatever they do in those capacities. People have been fronting individuals saying this one can be the best in this particular position and so forth. So what kind of a person do we need in the office of the president to lead this country from wherever we are to the next level? There are those who believe that President Ruto has done so much and should be given a chance to continue with his second term. There are also those who believe President Ruto has failed them, so he should not get another chance to continue occupying the office that he is currently occupying. There are even those who believe that he has been so outrageous that he should not be given even a complete term. That said, I want us to look at the character traits of a person who should occupy the office of the president for the prosperity of our country, because I've come to realize that different people want to change leadership for different reasons. There are those who believe that the president should be changed because he has done nothing in their village. There are those who believe that the president is not maybe inclusive and should be changed so that we can have somebody who can be inclusive. So that notwithstanding, I want us to dive into and see now basically the baseline. What do we need in that office? First, I want us to talk about the character traits of a president we need. First and foremost, we want or we deserve a president who will bring order in this country. By order I mean peace and harmony, whereby the country does not experience this continuous mayhem we continue to experience, because at the end of the day it affects the person at the lowest level of the economy. We have seen demonstrations being held in different parts of this country, which ends up being very destructive. By destructive I mean they disrupt the normal activities of the people, which is not the reason why the demonstrations were provided for or were given as a provision in our laws. It's not clear who brings the disruptions which happens, especially when the demonstrations are carried out. This can be seen from what people say. There are those who believe that demonstrations are held and at the end of it all, they turn violent, maybe because of the police, that it is the police who disrupts peaceful demonstration and makes it to turn violent. There are also those who believe that it is the people, that the people may organize a demonstration, but at the end of it all, it becomes hijacked by the people with some ill motives to disrupt the normal activities of the day. So remember, demonstrations and public order is provided for in the Constitution and in other laws which govern this country, or which are operational in this country. From the very first article of the Constitution, whereby it is given that all sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. But it goes ahead to say that power must be exercised in accordance with the Constitution. So it gives the people the power to even assemble in Article 37 and all the other laws of this country, including the Public Order Act. So there is a way we should carry ourselves or our activities out. So, but in the recent past, it has been very clear that public order has been breached, whereby people have been shot, others have lost their lives, others have lost their livelihoods, public properties have been destroyed, others have been vandalized. You saw the other day our parliament was invaded and it was almost torched. So how do we want to exist as a country? How do we want to operate? How do we want to go forward as a nation? So we want somebody in that office, or in the office of the president, or in authority, somebody who can bring order in this country, which is slowly being lost or being swept away. Under that the public order which we need as a country, I can also talk about the recent cases of police brutality which has been witnessed across the country. The police who seems to have gone overboard, and they have taken the law on their hands to judge and prosecute or litigate cases in the streets, especially when they are dealing with the public who are on rampage. Also, there are attempts to silence the police. This has been witnessed from different quarters, whereby from the public also seems to be putting more effort to silence the police. The courts and all other sectors of the economy, all other sectors of this country seems to be turning their guns towards the police. I want us to talk about this silencing of the police. If these people, or if whoever who is pushing this agenda to silence the police succeeds to silence the police, then you can believe me that this will be the beginning of chaos in this country. I can give you an example of a court order which was issued I think last year, whereby a judge gave an order asking the police not to tear gas anybody, not to shoot, not to use rubber bullets, water cannons. Basically, the court asked the police to be silent when they are dealing with demonstrations. So the judge, or the court officer, or the office of the court who gave that order literally said that the police should not use any kind of power or force when they are dealing with the people on rampage. I seem to agree with that judge to some extent. that order is very useful and it's very practical in a situation whereby people are carrying out themselves within the confines of the law. Because there is a way the law has defined demonstrations on how they should be carried out and how they should be executed by those who feel aggrieved for one reason or the other. So the police should not use any kind of force when people are on strike, but when they are on strike according to Article 37. But it has been witnessed all over since demonstrations began in this country, especially the demonstrations which are carried out by the general public. It is in few instances where you find the public who are on streets to demonstrate are peaceful and are unarmed, like they are peaceable, as the law clearly stipulates. It is okay to say that the police should not use any kind of force when they are dealing with peaceful demonstrations. But what happens when the demonstrations turns violent in one way or the other? So how should it be handled then? This becomes a big challenge to handle the people who are on the streets and they are not peaceful. And I don't know how that one is practical. Either way, we have seen instances whereby goons hijack peaceful demonstrations with an ill motive to loot, others to steal from the people, to rob others, to steal from shops, to destroy public property and all those. So how can that be handled? So as I said, we need somebody in that office, in the office of the president, who can restore public order. Let people use the law. Let the public conduct themselves according to the definitions given by the law. And let the police also handle the people according to the law. So we need somebody in the office of the president, or the president Kenya deserves should be a person who should uphold the rule of the law, however painful it will be, either to the side of the state agencies or to the side of the public. It's either we decide on how we should go forward. It's either we use the law or we go the anarchy way, because we are in a very dangerous state. However, as we push for the state agencies, for the police to be doing whatever they do to deal with the public using the law, also we urge the public to be peaceful whenever they are doing their demonstrations, because I've never seen a police light bonfires on the road. It's either the people don't understand how they should conduct themselves during demonstrations, or the police don't know how they should handle the people who are on strike. As we all continue with all these things that we are doing, castigating the police, cursing the police, and doing whatever we want to do, let us also remember that we should not silence the police, because there have been attempts we have seen from the court like directly giving an order to silence the police, an order which I agree to some extent when the demonstrations are peaceful. But when they are peaceful, then it raises more questions than answers. From the public also, we have seen people confront the police, provoking them. Like, what happens when somebody chases a police officer who is carrying a gun with live ammunition in it? When a citizen or a Kenyan following that police officer with a machete. So what happens when that becomes the case, whereby the police officers come out to manage a crowd, for example, who have assembled to demand or to petition for something? So they have come out demonstrating, for example. Whether the demonstration is legal or illegal, the fact is that there are demonstrations on the streets. But what happens when somebody chases a police with a machete? So And also, it's not only that. Also, we have seen young ladies confronting the police, abusing them. So what happens with that? Because the police seems to be throwing their hands to the air and saying that they are always on the receiving end. What if they decide to stay away from the demonstrations? It has been seen in most cases that people have said that, and the people have said that severally, that peaceful demonstrations are disrupted in most cases by the police when the police comes and throws tear gas on them. So most people hold that opinion, that, or that view, that it is the police who disrupts peaceful demonstrations. So take a minute and ask yourself, what if the police stay away during a demonstration? So what will happen? The last demonstration we witnessed two groups with different opinions confronting each other in the streets. Others are carrying machetes, others are carrying the sticks of djembes. So what will happen when that will come on board? Because in most cases, people loot, people destroy public property, and when you throw tear gas to disperse the crowd, it becomes illegal. So what if these police officers stay away or decide to stay away? What will happen? That will be the beginning of chaos and anarchy. So we should be very careful on how we trade forward, because Kenya, at all times, it will remain to be greater than any one individual. In most cases, when we want to think about this country, let us not think of Kenya with individuals in mind, because Kenya is a going concern, but the individuals are not a going concern. So we should be very careful on how we trade forward. So first, I said, we need a president. We need somebody in the office of the president who can restore order, who can draw a line on the ground that the people should not cross and the police should not cross. So there must be order in one way or another. If we want at all, we want to help this country to move forward, because Kenya will be built by Kenyans or will be destroyed by the same Kenyans. Because out of the 10 countries which have been listed to be the failed countries or failed states across the world, 6 of them are from our region. 6 of the 10 failed states are from the Eastern Africa region. So how can we handle ourselves? Because a country is made by its citizens, and a country is destroyed by the same citizens. So we should be very careful on how we trade forward. Let us go to the streets to demonstrate, to picket, and even to present our petitions to authorities as it is stipulated under the law. But if we want to conduct these issues, these things that I've seen in the media, whereby people have come out with a timetable on how they are going to conduct the demonstrations, whereby they have given the activities of the day, which includes storming some protected areas. Definitely, what these people want is that they will be given a reason to come on the street the next time, because it is going to be rough, and it should not be rough in any way. Is it possible that we look at the traits we need in somebody who should occupy the office of the president than the tribal card? Because the tribal card is very dangerous, and it is not helpful to this country in any way. Because there are those who believe that Ruto should not be the president, and the person who should be the president is maybe somebody from their community, somebody they speak the same language, or somebody who understands the language they speak. So we have seen one trait that we need the person who should occupy the office of the president should possess, the person who will bring order to this country. Because at the end of the day, people need to do business, people need to live, people need to do their activities peacefully. So this country, the order of this country seems to be under scrutiny. It seems to be on a sabotage table.